Good morning, everybody. Not quite sure what I want to talk about. I had something in mind this morning and I forgot. So I guess we'll talk about Shavuos. Shavuos is a very interesting yontif. Again, this is just flow of consciousness, extemporaneous. I didn't plan ahead what I'm talking about today, so I apologize for that. Like I said, I had something in mind to talk about and I forgot. But let's just talk about this yontif. Shavuos is a fascinating yontif. First and foremost because so many people don't know about it. I wouldn't say foremost, but I would say first of all because it is such a major holiday and yet it's so strongly ignored. It's probably one of the most important holidays that we have. I would even venture to say, in a certain sense, it's the most important holiday. Fascinating thing what people don't realize, like for example, in the soccer community, they actually sell seats for Shavuos. I mean, they also sell seats for Yom Kippur, but like it's very well known, many communities where they sell seats for Yom Kippur. You have to get tickets to go to synagogue on the high holidays. Shavuos, in most shuls, you don't have that hard of a time finding a seat. Actually, in our synagogue, also in White Lake, it's actually our biggest turnout of the year for the simple reason that we are essentially a seasonal congregation. And at this part of the season, we're the only show in town. And yet there are people seasonal people who come to the area and even to bungalow colonies, but they don't have, for whatever reason, let's say they don't have someone to read the Torah, and that's actually to our benefit. I don't want to be Megala Soy, it's Ein Baruch Shorel Davar Saman Ayin, but it's an important thing, especially at Yizkor, among the Ashkenazic Jews, they make a big deal about Yizkor, which question how important that actually is. Obviously, it's not a halachic requirement because the Sephardic Jews don't even do Yizkor, but we don't want to tell people that because then we're going to lose haknasa. I'm just being brutally honest here. I mean, it is something. It's the way we keep the lights on in the synagogue. It's the way we keep the roof overhead. It's especially a lot of synagogues, they struggle just to keep the doors open financially, and the bigger they are, the more they struggle. The more money they have coming in, the more expenses they have going out. So that's just the story. So anyway, what can we say? The fact of the matter is, Shavuos is a very important holiday, and it's a unique holiday in so many ways. The basic unique aspect of Shavuos is that it's a holiday that's just a plain holiday. There's no special mitzvah to be done for this holiday. Pesach, we don't eat chametz, we eat matzah. Very involved, very difficult. Sukkahs, of course, we have the sukkah, and we have the Arba Minim, Lulav and Esrog, Hadas Baravas. Sukkahs, those are when it comes to pilgrimage holidays. When it comes to the high holidays, of course, the main mitzvah of Rosh Hashanah is the shofar. And the main mitzvah of Yom Kippur is the fast. In Yom Kippur, we have many other aspects of the holiday that we pray 5 times. We say confession and so forth. Shavuos has no actual special mitzvos. However, we have liturgical customs and so forth. I saw in Wikipedia, I never heard this before, but that the customs of Shavuos spell out Acharis, which means the end, because Reishis for Acharis. So Acharis, what's Acharis? Aleph is Akdamas. There's a liturgical poem, Akdamas Milin, that we read before the Torah reading on the first day of Shavuos, and then Yitziv Piskam on the second day or in the middle of after the first verse of the Haftarah. Ches is Cholav. We have a custom to eat dairy foods on Shavuos. We can talk about the various aspects of those customs, the various way that custom is followed. Reish is Rus. At least there's a custom, certainly among Ashkenazim, and many Sephardim have adopted this as well, to read the book of Ruth liturgically in the synagogue. Let's see. Yud. He said Yerek is that we decorate the synagogue with plants, flowers, and trees. And then Tov is Tikkun Leil Shavuos, that we have a what do they call it? How do they say in English? A vigil on the night of Shavuos, the first night of Shavuos. We have a vigil. Whether there's different versions of how the vigil is done. So let's talk about these various things. Akdamus is a poem, describes very poetically the giving of the Torah. And if you're a fan of, like, as I am, of the kaiju monster movies, someone asks if someone's a shomer, does the shomer have to go to the mikveh afterwards? The answer I'm saying is no. But I usually do anyway, if it's possible. And So if you like it's interesting. I'm studying now Job. I'm almost finished. Today, at least reading it. I'm not really studying it in depth, but trying to read through Tanakh every year. I mentioned this before. So today I read Job 40, which has the big monsters, the behemoth and the Leviathan, Behemoth and Leviathan. It's always fun to read about big giant monsters, and especially in Akdamas, they it describes them fighting, so it's like a Godzilla movie, you know. I'm sorry, so that's fun. But there's other aspects to it, obviously. So we'll move on from there. Chalav. This is something we'll talk a little bit more about. Milchiks on Shavuos, dairy foods. There's different interpretations. Why do we eat dairy foods? Some have milk and honey. And the concept there with the dairy foods. So we don't have to get into that. Torah is compared to milk, or they weren't able to do shechita in time, and it was yontiv, and all these various interpretations of that. I'd like to get into how the custom is done. Oh my goodness, I'm not going to read all of this in Hebrew. So we'll leave that aside for now. But how is the custom done? I've seen many different customs. I remember in Lander College we had blintzes before the Suda, but during this we made Kiddush, and we made Hamotzi, and we ate blintzes, and then we were supposed to rinse our mouth, whatever, and then eat other foods. I think that was the first night. That's how. I remember Rabbi Ariel Bar Tzadok said that the actual Suda on the night of Shavuos should be dairy, and that helped to have a clear mind for the Tikkun Leil Shavuos, by having a lighter meal. And he actually was opposed to the idea of eating a meat meal on the night of Shavuos at all. Many people only have a dairy meal and don't have a meat meal. My personal custom, somewhat to the chagrin of my wife, is that we follow the Samarov's custom, general Hungarian custom, and this was actually, it seems in many yeshiva places, this is also the custom. I remember in North Sameach, this is what we did, is that after davening, we have a kiddush that's dairy on the first day of Shavuos, and we don't wash. We only have mazonos and eat all the various dairy foods. The preeminent food by certainly in Satmar is cheese kreplach. I know many other Hasidic communities, it's a major food. Cheesecake is also popular, blintzes as well. You see, the kreplach is more popular for some reason by the Hasidim than the blintzes. It's a different name. They have blintzes, Polish goods or something. I don't know. We always call it blintzes. I gave him a plate of blintzes to paint my fence, and he did a lousy job. Paint my fence. Remember that in The Simpsons? Probably not. And then after that, then to wait an hour or so, and then to wash and have the actual meal. second day of Shavuos. If you have it from a cloth, you can make a bracha. Most people don't. We don't. Yud Yerek, to decorate the synagogue and the home with plants and flowers and so forth. All right. I heard that the Vilna Gaon was against that custom. But various communities have various minhagim. Probably some of the most beautiful I've seen is from the German community, the Eckes, in Washington Heights. A very beautiful way that they decorate with the plants in the synagogue. And then Tikkun Leil Shavuos. Many different customs, how that is accomplished. Again, none of these things are obligatory. These are customs. If you're lactose intolerant, you don't have to force yourself to eat milchiks on Shavuos. You might still want to, but you don't have to. You can. I'm not saying you can't. So there is an actual liturgy of Tikkun Leil Shavuos, which is to take the beginning and end of every parsha of the Torah, and the beginning and end of every book of the Bible, and the first and last Mishnah of every tractate of the Mishnah, and the 613 commandments, and then readings of the Zohar and other Kabbalistic texts. And within the biblical readings, you also have whatever readings that are apropos for Shavuos. So the whole book of Ruth is in there, 10 Commandments, Haftarahs, certain Psalms that are connected, and so forth. Other people don't have the custom to read that, but just to stay up and study Torah and whatever they're studying, whatever they want to study, and to have a class, and that's usually the Hasidim, if they do say the Tikkun Leil Shavuos, but they leave out the Mishnayos. The custom among most Rebbes, and as Chatoy Ani Mazkar Yom, that's something that I personally do myself, is to actually say the Tikkun Leil Shavuos without the Mishnayos before making Kiddush on the night of Shavuos, and to make Kiddush later and essentially conduct a tish, although I do it privately. When I was a Rav in Virginia, it was open to the public, but very few people actually came. And I think that's a pretty nice way. Some people talk about the second night. I would suggest if you want to do the second night, that's when you could do the Mishnayos. Although I sometimes question when is the best time to do the second night. After Tikkun Leil Shavuos is supposed to go until Alois HaShachar, and then at Alois HaShachar, if you're able to, it's a very big inyan al pi Kabbalah to go to the mikveh. On the morning of Shavuos, very, very major, probably one of the most important times of the year to go to the mikveh according to the Kabbalists. We have a lake, that's where I go, and when is Alois HaShachar, I have an app on my phone that brings all different opinions, and there's actually an opinion on this app on my phone that Alois HaShachar is something like 2 in the morning, which is pretty easy to do. So I would suggest, again, the other question is when you daven the first morning of Shavuos. Most Ashkenazim and Sephardim, they daven first thing in the morning and Nates and Kvasikin. And then the Balabatisha people daven the normal time. By Hasidim, generally what they'll do is they'll daven actually later on Shavuos morning. They stay up all night and then they go to sleep. And in the end, I've realized that's much better, especially when it comes to like saying akdamas and having kavanah and so forth. All right. Well, thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and we'll see you all later. Take care.